What's up, Broncos Country? You're not going to believe what might be going on behind the scenes with our team. I just got information that could completely change the direction of our season. And look, when I say this is big, it's because it really could be the move we've been waiting for a long time. So stick with me until the end, because this news is going to make you rethink everything about the orange and blue future. Before we dive headfirst into this bombshell, I need you to do something. If you breathe football, if you bleed orange and blue, if you're true Broncos country, hit that subscribe button now. Because here, we don't miss anything that happens with our family. Every day there's fresh content, deep analysis, and everything you need to know about our Denver Broncos. Let's go together. So here we go. The situation is this. There's a real concrete possibility of a trade that would make our roster take a giant leap in quality. And when I say giant, I'm not exaggerating one bit. We're talking about a player who would take our defense to another level, who would bring experience, talent, and that winning mentality we need so much to make noise in the playoffs. The name that's circulating is a defensive end who plays for the New Orleans Saints, a guy who's not just anyone. We're talking about Cameron Jordan. That's right, family. Cameron Jordan. That name alone should make any football fan jump out of their seat. Because we're talking about one of the most consistent and respected pass rushers in the league in recent years. Now you're probably thinking, but wait, we already have a good defensive line. Why bring someone from outside? And that's exactly where it gets interesting. I'll explain exactly why this move would make all the sense in the world for our Denver Broncos. First, let's talk about who Cameron Jordan is. The guy is 35 years old, yes, but don't let that fool you. He's not just another veteran trying to stretch out his career. Jordan is a player who still produces at a high level, who still bothers quarterbacks, who's still respected throughout the league. The guy has 8 Pro Bowl selections in his career. 8! That's not a small thing, family. When you put on an NFL uniform, making 1 Pro Bowl is already a huge achievement. Now imagine doing it 8 times. That shows consistency, shows the guy didn't have 1 or 2 good seasons and disappear. No. Jordan established himself as one of the best at his position year after year, season after season. And that's exactly the type of player who can make a difference in decisive moments. But let's go beyond numbers and statistics. Let's talk about what really matters, what Cameron Jordan would bring inside the Denver Broncos locker room. We have a young team, full of talent, with pieces that are starting to fit together. But playoff experience, that experience of big games, of maximum pressure moments, you can't buy that. You learn that in practice with those who've already lived it. Jordan has seen it all in this league. He's played on good teams, on bad teams. He knows what it's like to face adversity, knows what it's like to maintain a high level, even when things aren't going well. And look, Denver Broncos family, that's exactly what we need now. We need leaders who show the way for the younger guys. Think with me. You have guys like Nick Bonitto, who's emerging as one of our best pass rushers. Imagine this kid training every day, learning every day from a guy of Cameron Jordan's caliber. The growth would be exponential. I'm not saying Bonitto isn't good, quite the opposite. But having a mentor of this level by your side accelerates development in an absurd way, and it's not just Bonitto. Our entire defensive line would benefit. Zach Allen, Baron Browning when he comes back from injury, all these guys could soak up knowledge from a veteran who's done everything you can do at this position. It's like having an extra coach on the field, someone who's been through every possible situation and knows exactly how to react. Now let's talk about the tactical side of things. Our defense is already solid, we know that. Vance Joseph has done a spectacular job as defensive coordinator. But every good coach knows you can never have too many pass rushers. Never. Because pressuring the quarterback is the most important thing a defense can do in modern football. If you can get to the quarterback without needing to send a blitz, without needing to compromise your coverage, you basically won the play before it started. And Jordan still has gas in the tank to do exactly that. The guy isn't that explosive young player from 10 years ago, obviously. But experience taught him to use technique, to use intelligence, to find paths to the backfield that younger players don't even imagine exist. Put Jordan in our defensive line rotation, and suddenly you have scary depth. You can rotate players, keep everyone fresh, and the level doesn't drop. Because no matter who's on the field, you have quality. And in the playoffs, family, in decisive games, that depth is what separates the teams that go far from the teams that fall early. But there's another aspect we need to consider: the impact in the locker room. Cameron Jordan isn't just a good player. The guy is known for being a vocal leader, someone who demands, who motivates, who doesn't let the group relax. And look, with all due respect to our current players, we can always use more defensive leadership. Patrick Surtain is our leader in the secondary, no doubt. The guy is an all-pro, one of the best cornerbacks in the league. But on the defensive line, in the trenches, you need someone who commands that zone. Jordan could be that guy. He would be that voice of experience that speaks when needed, who guides the younger ones, who doesn't let anyone get comfortable. And let's be honest here, Denver Broncos family. If we want to truly compete for the Super Bowl, we need every possible edge. We can't pass up opportunities to improve the roster. And when a player of Cameron Jordan's quality is potentially available, you have to at least seriously consider it. Now, I know what some of you are thinking, but what about cap space? Do we have money for this? Let's talk about the financial part, because this is important. Jordan has a considerable salary, as any high-level veteran would. But here's the thing, the Saints are in a difficult situation with the salary cap. They need to free up space, they need to make moves. This means that in a negotiation, we would have the advantage. We wouldn't need to give up much in terms of draft picks, maybe a mid-round pick, maybe a conditional one, nothing that would break our future. And in return, you get a player who can help you now in the competitive window that's open, because that's what we need to understand. Broncos Country, our window is open now. Bo Nix is developing as a quarterback. Our defense is one of the best in the league. We have pieces on offense that can explode at any moment. It's not time to think only about the distant future. It's time to win now, to take advantage of this opportunity. And look, I'm not saying we need to mortgage the future. Absolutely not. But making a smart, calculated move that gives you a better chance to win now without sacrificing tomorrow? That's what smart teams do. That's what winning organizations do. Let's think about what our defensive line would be like with Cameron Jordan in the mix. You have Zach Allen, who's been doing a really good job. You have DJ Jones occupying blockers in the middle. You have Nick Bonitto being a constant threat coming from the edge. Now add Jordan to that equation. Suddenly you have 4 guys who can win individual matchups. How do you block that? How does an offensive coordinator design a protection scheme against that? The answer is, there's no way. You'll always leave someone with an advantage. And when that happens in football, when the defense has more individual talent than the offense can block, good things happen. Sacks happen. Fumbles happen. Interceptions happen because the quarterback is forced to get rid of the ball too quickly. This is what we call the cascade effect. A seemingly simple move, bringing a veteran to the defensive line, ends up impacting the entire defense. The linebackers are more free because the offensive linemen are busy trying to contain the rush. The secondary has more time to cover because the quarterbacks are rushed. Everything connects. And I'll tell you something, family. In the playoffs, in the games that really matter, you win or lose at the line of scrimmage. That's where battles are decided. If you dominate the opponent's offensive line, you'll win the game. It's that simple. And having Cameron Jordan gives you one more weapon in this trench warfare. But it's not just about what he does on the field. Let's talk about the intangible factor. When you have a respected veteran, a guy who's already done everything in the league, it elevates everyone's level around him. Guys train harder because they don't want to disappoint the veteran. Guys study more film because they see the veteran doing it. It's a leadership effect that goes far beyond Sundays. Jordan is known for being a guy who arrives early, leaves late, who's always studying the next opponent. This type of work ethic is contagious. When younger guys see a guy who's already won everything, who's been to the Pro Bowl 8 times, still working like he's a rookie trying to make the roster, it changes an entire team's mentality. And look, Broncos Country, we've seen what happens when you have the right veterans in the right place. Remember when Peyton Manning got here? It wasn't just about what he did on the field. It was about how he changed the culture, how he raised the standard of excellence. I'm not comparing Jordan to Manning in terms of impact, obviously, but the principle is the same. The right veterans make teams better. Now, let's talk about the timing of this possible trade. Why would this make sense at this specific moment in the season? Well, we're at a point where there's still time for a player to integrate into the system, learn the schemes, build chemistry with teammates. If you wait too long, it gets harder. But if you move now, you maximize the return on investment. Besides, our campaign is promising. We're fighting for playoff position. The defense is playing at a high level, but there's always room to improve. And if you have the chance to improve, you improve. You don't wait. You don't let the opportunity pass. The Saints, on the other hand, are rebuilding. They're not going to compete for a title this year, that's clear. So for them, it makes total sense to trade a veteran for assets that can help in the future. It's a situation where everyone wins. They free up cap space and get draft picks. We get a player who can help us now. And here's the part that really excites me. Denver Broncos family. Imagine our defense in the playoffs. Imagine us facing one of the big AFC teams, whoever it is, and having a defensive line that can dominate the game. Because that's what happens when you have surplus talent at that position. You can control the pace of the game. If you can stop the run, force the opponent to pass, and then get to the quarterback with only 4 rushers, you've basically won. Because then you can drop 7 in coverage, you can do more complex schemes in the secondary, you can confuse the quarterback in every possible way. And all of this starts from having a dominant defensive line. Cameron Jordan doesn't need to be the guy who's going to get 10 sacks in the playoffs. That's not it. He needs to be the guy who wins his matchup enough to create opportunities for others. He needs to be the guy that the other team's offensive coordinator needs to worry about when putting together the game plan. He needs to be that constant threat that can't be ignored. And seriously, when was the last time we had real depth on the defensive line? When was the last time you looked at our roster and thought, man, we can rotate here without losing quality? Because that's what elite teams do. They keep legs fresh. They maintain momentum for the full 60 minutes. In the fourth quarter, when the other team is tired, when the offensive linemen don't have legs as strong anymore, that's when you attack. That's when the rush comes faster, when the sacks appear. And having veterans like Jordan who know how to manage energy, who know when to step on the gas, that's priceless. But I want to hear from you, Broncos Country. What do you think? Would you make this trade? Do you think Cameron Jordan would be a worthwhile addition? Because at the end of the day, we're a family here, and everyone has an opinion. So drop down in the comments and tell us what you think. Some people will say, oh, but he's already old, not worth it. And I understand that perspective. But football isn't just about pure athleticism. It's about technique, intelligence, experience. And Jordan has that in spades. The guy might not have the explosion of a 25-year-old player, but he has things a young player will never have until they live and learn. Others will say, we need to save our resources for the future. And look, I agree that long-term planning is important, but you also need to take advantage of your windows of opportunity. Bo Nix is on his rookie contract. That gives you financial flexibility now. Take advantage of that. Use that space to bring in veterans who can help you win while your quarterback is still cheap. Because as soon as you have to pay Bo Nix on his second contract, if he continues evolving as he is, the financial flexibility goes away. It's like what happens with every team in the modern NFL. So the time to make bold moves is now, not 3 years from now when half the cap is committed to the quarterback. Think about the Chiefs. They did exactly that when Mahomes was still on his rookie deal. They went all in, brought in veterans, built a championship team. And when it came time to pay Mahomes, they already had the rings. They had already established the winning culture. We can follow that blueprint, and Cameron Jordan would be a perfect piece in this puzzle. It's not a desperate move. It's not mortgaging the future. It's a calculated, intelligent move that gives you better chances to win now without sacrificing tomorrow. It's the type of move that George Paton, our general manager, should be seriously considering. Because I'll tell you something, Denver Broncos family, opportunities like this don't come every day. A future Hall of Famer, a guy with 8 Pro Bowls, potentially available for a reasonable price? That doesn't happen often. When it appears, you need to at least make the call, have the conversation, See if you can make it happen. Imagine the announcement. Denver Broncos acquire Cameron Jordan in trade with the Saints. The impact of that on the entire league would be immediate. Everyone would start looking at our team differently. Because making a move like that shows you're serious, that you want to win now, that you're not satisfied with just making the playoffs. You want more, and that's what I want to see from my team, Broncos Country. I want to see ambition. I want to see bold moves. I want to see the organization saying, we believe in this team. We believe we can win now. And we'll do whatever it takes to give our roster the best possible chances. I'm not asking for craziness. I'm not asking for us to trade 3 first-round draft picks for a 35-year-old veteran, but a reasonable mid-round pick for a guy who could be the difference between a wild card elimination and a deep playoff run. That seems like a good deal to me, and look how competitive our division is. The Chiefs continue to be the Chiefs, dominating year after year. The Chargers have a new coach. They're improving. The Raiders are always unpredictable. The AFC West doesn't forgive. You need every advantage possible just to win the division, let alone make noise in the playoffs. Having Cameron Jordan on our defensive line would give us that advantage. In games against Mahomes, you need pressure. There's no other way. If you leave him comfortable in the pocket, he'll destroy you. Everyone knows that. So you need guys who can win rushing with 4, leaving 7 in coverage. Jordan can still do that. And against Justin Herbert, same thing. You need to get him out of rhythm. Need to make him uncomfortable. Because when these elite quarterbacks have time, they're going to make you pay. But if you can get to them, force quick decisions, then the game changes completely. This is football at the highest level, family. It's a chess game played by gladiators. And having the right pieces on the board makes all the difference. Cameron Jordan would be one of those pieces, a piece that fits perfectly